my
unpopular opinion. If United win Europa and Arsenal don't win Champions League, Gyokeres chooses United.
That could happen. And for me, that's the thing about the Gyokeres deal. Arsenal are the favourites as things stand right now because United aren't the favourites to even win the Europa League. But I think Man United with Champions League football will have a really good chance with him. And you guys asked me about 6 months ago, why would he pick Man United? And I honestly put it down to, I think there's a really good chance he would pick us due to his relationship with the manager. I think
I agree with that, by the way.
That holds water. It's one of those things where there's talk that Alonso's already in the ear of a few of the Leverkusen players saying, I need to bring you with me to Real Madrid as an example. Real Madrid, by the way, have more pull than Man United right now, but it wouldn't shock people if City and Bayern that are chasing Wirtz suddenly come second and third place to Real Madrid. But a big pull for that could be that he's moving with them. So, yeah, look, for me, I think the Gyokeres deal could ride on something along those lines. A few people in the comments I want to address. Terry, you said that last summer. I didn't say if we made Champions League football that we would be able to spend more money because we were nowhere. That couldn't have happened this time last year because we were nowhere near Champions League places, were we? As far as I remember. Where did we come in the league? Is it 8th? So I don't know why in basically May last year when we were coming 8th, I would have been sitting there saying if we have Champions League football, we can spend more money. But it's an absolute fact that extra £100 million, Lawrence, will enable Man United to spend more money this summer. If you think that's wrong, you need to give me an argument because I definitely didn't say it last year because we weren't in the race for Champions League football at this stage. So I wouldn't have been saying it, would I? I can't imagine I would have said in 8th place, I hope we make Champions League. We were already out of it. I can't have said that, surely. But the point would have been the same. Teams with Champions League football typically can spend more money with teams without it. Maybe I'm being crazy here. I don't know, Lawrence. Let me know. But yeah, that deal will be an interesting one to see where he ends up. Terry, everyone has more pull than United right now. Okay, if you listen, like I said about the Oranges, I'm not going to allow.
Guys, we like to do this reactionary shit every summer. I think I learned the harshest lesson from the Caicedo and Lavia saga. I learned so many harsh lessons in terms of transfers because I had this mentality. Terry will tell you, we stood on the straight facts when I was by myself. We sat there and I explained to Terry every single Friday how because Liverpool have Jurgen Klopp and we've got Champions League football, we're more attractive than Club X and more attractive than Club Y. There's a lot of things that come into why a club is more attractive. The manager they have, the players that they have, where they are currently right now. Are they headed somewhere? The vision of the ownership group. Like there are so many things. And by the way, what usurps all of this is money. Can we stop acting like footballers? By the way, let's just establish something. Asu Koto, who is a left back at Tottenham Hotspur, said he doesn't even watch football. Ben White, who's one of the best right backs in the league, says he doesn't even like to watch football. Some footballers treat this as a job. Some footballers want to milk the shit out of it. By the way, prime example, Oscar. Oscar was one of the best 10s, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, decided in the prime of his career to go to China just so he can get money. Can we stop acting like these footballers just are not human?
It's
like,
become.
I work for Terry right now, like on straight facts. If someone offers me like 10 times the money to go work on somewhere else, it's different. Guys, we're human. Money matters in life.
And I would say that Hassan would be a mug to turn it down if I couldn't match it. The only time I'd say it was weird is if he went to a channel that isn't as good. It isn't as good and it was free. Then I'd be like, actually, I'm quite glad to get rid of a crazy person.
Yeah,
if I'm being
I know
honest
some
with you.
people who do that.
Can I have an unpopular opinion about this? Paying more money doesn't mean your club is more attractive. Doesn't mean more.
Okay, but I think Gyokeres will go to United because of Amarim.
So
I'm sorry. Like I can't sit here and advertise this. It's more poor.
But let me challenge you on that. But maybe we agree. But maybe we agree. So I agree with you. If we say to Gyokeres, do you want to come to Man United? He says no. We say we'll pay you 200 grand a week. He says no. 250 a week. And it's the same as Arsenal. It's no. 275. Oh, okay. I'll come for that. I think that's different because what you can afford to pay someone is part of the attraction. So that's where I think paying extra money is.
Can I challenge you on that point before you go on?
Let me make my other point.
Before I forget.
You might not want to challenge me when you hear the next point. You might still want to. Where I agree with you is if we go, there's 275, we can beat Arsenal. No, I just want to play for Arsenal. There's 500 grand a week. Okay, yeah, I'll come. I think that if you have to pay somebody an extreme amount of money over their market value, that's when you're moving into a problem area, like we did with Alexis Sanchez as a case in point.
Lenny Euro.
Well, I don't know, but we're not paying Lenny Euro an extreme amount of money.
You paid triple what Madrid offered. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but we're not paying him massively above the market value for a top young centre back.
Madrid didn't offer him that. Madrid told him we're not going that route, but Madrid told him it's either you come with our terms or you don't. Man United said,
example being this: what's Gyokeres worth a week? What is Gyokeres worth a week, in your opinion?
For me, 250.
Okay,
to 3.
So if Arsenal offer him 100,000 a week, and we offer him 250, right? We've offered 1.5 times the size of the salary.
He's going United.
That doesn't mean we're overpaying him. Do you see my point? So you can offer 2 or 3 times more than a competitor, but that doesn't mean you're paying exorbitant amounts of money above market value. I think there's a distinction there.
I hear your point here. Yes. No, I understand you.
Decay here. I mean, this is always an interesting take from Decay. He says that United isn't even sure they'll stick with Gyokeres. Why would he sign a 5-year deal with Amorim? Might not even be here after next season. I mean, there's 0 signs at the moment that the club are not looking to stick with Amorim.
And that is the great comment, Dakai, because I think what we should be discussing here is he committing career suicide instead of going to Arsenal to go for Man United for the 25k extra a week. We are fans. This is our opinion. That's what we should be discussing. Like, forget Man United more attractive than Arsenal. If Gyokeres choose United over Arsenal, is that the wrong decision for him? Remove your fandom hat and tell me, is that right or wrong?
So just let me just respond to Decay for a minute. That's a fair comment. People saying, I think he's better off going to Arsenal. I can accept that. Arsenal are in a better position than we are. The problem is with this comment here from Decay, it is shrouded in non-facts. So there is no indication that United aren't sure whether they'd stick with Gyokeres, okay? And there is no sign right now that the club is going to sack Ruben Amorim. So the problem is you could apply that logic to anybody. Why would Isak go to Liverpool? Because if Liverpool have a terrible season, they might sack Slot. It's less likely because they're in a better position, but you could literally apply that comment. Okay, you're a Chelsea fan. That means I want to now see you apply that logic to every Chelsea player you're linked to, a club, by the way, that sacks 5 managers in 3 years. The problem with it is that
Gyokeres is on 46 grand a week. I just checked, by the way.
Well, there we go.
46 grand a week. Are you mad?
So I think your point, Mo, holds water. Serious holds water. The idea, though, that no one should go to United because the manager might not be there in 6 months, in a year, or whatever it may be. That logic dictates that most clubs that are not currently winning their league title or challenging, including his club Chelsea, shouldn't be able to sign any players. It's, again, in the reality of the world, it doesn't make sense.